Another day of very wet, windy and cold weather here in San Francisco. Fog is in, wind is blowing. But one thing I wanted to talk about was how the people of the US and other places in the world are not paying attention to what the science is coming out with. We're too busy looking for laptops and oil drilling and gun violence. Well, we must have more and more guns and endless worrying about when pre-industrial levels, what the date is exactly. We got to have the exact date of pre-industrial levels or we can't do anything about it. Well, this is just a bunch of nonsense. We need to forget about the laptops, forget about drilling for oil, and forget about guns and start paying attention to what the climate is telling us. And this is what it's telling us. Big trouble in the world's oceans are now heating up very, very, very fast. Something very troubling is happening on and under the 70% of the planet's surface covered by oceans. There's a lot to pay attention to with record temperatures across Asia, Canada, and the Pacific Northwest. But the true scary numbers from this spring are showing up in the oceans. Look at this map. Just look at this map. Shouldn't this be what we put our worries to instead of worrying about laptops, guns? We must have more guns. We must drill for more oil. We must worry about pre-industrial levels. Why? When this is what we should be paying attention to. If you look at the map, you can see the anomalies. The average ocean temperatures in the beginning of March suddenly got very much hotter than we've measured before. The magnitude of this jump has scientists perplexed and considerably more frightened. The numbers are extreme. In March, sea surface temperatures off the east coast of North America were as much as 13.8 degrees Celsius higher than the 1980s to 2011 average. So that's not in pre-industrial anything. That's the dates that they're measuring from. Doesn't mean they have to measure from pre-industrial, it just means that's the dates that they're measuring from. The Earth has accumulated almost as much heat as it did in the previous 45 years. About 89% of that heat has ended up in the oceans. So the more we heat up the land, that heat ends up in the oceans. Well, the oceans have now heated up and have gotten to equilibrium to what it is on land. And so they're not able to drink up any more heat. That's serious trouble. With El Nino heat on top of already record warm, oceans will cause havoc, but extremely what will happen count. Oh, here comes a vehicle. So what will happen from here on can't be predicted, but it's obvious that hell is on its way. Now, there's this thing called the wet bulb temperature. That's where the humidity and our temperatures get too high for life to exist. And we're very, very, very close to that, if not exceeding that in some places on the planet at times. Now, there's another problem, is that if we don't get a handle on this stuff, what's going to happen with food? Where are we going to get food? Wheat and many of our basic commodities are already in trouble. Where are we going to be able to feed 8 billion plus people? We have to get control of the population. Instead of birthing a child for bloodline, it's like bloodline's so important, why don't we adopt? There are so many children that need good homes that are wandering the planet without any mother and father. Why don't we, instead of birthing children, take care of these people? What is wrong with us? We're worried about laptops and whether we have enough guns in our homes and whether, and on and on and on. When now with the debt ceiling coming to a head here in the US, one of the things that Republicans are demanding is that the Democrats okay the drilling of oil onshore and offshore everywhere. No restrictions anywhere. Up in Alaska, in our wildlife refuges, in our parks, next to our homes, everywhere offshore, except one place, of course, and that's Florida, because one of the main Republicans lives in Florida and he doesn't want oil drilling offshore. So everywhere else is going to have oil drilling if Biden caves in to their demands. This is ridiculous. And also, another one of their demands is that all money allocated to renewable energy be allocated to fossil fuels instead. And this is for real. Go look it up. Check it out. Be informed. Stop being dead and worrying about laptops and whether pre-industrial levels are 1730, 1789, because pre-industrial levels don't matter. And you know why? It's because we don't know where they are. Where did pre-industrial start? The Copper Age, the Bronze Age, the Coal Age, the Steel Age? Where? We don't know. We've been burning stuff ever since humans have pretty much been on the planet. So why bother worrying about where pre-industrial levels are when we can move closer to our work, we can take mass transportation, drive less, and live in apartments and that sort of thing where it's more efficient, so we're not covering up all this land where nature needs to be, with houses, endless sprawls of houses. Gotta live the good life. Have to have the house, the two-car garage, the child, the whole thing is not in sync with what the planet will put up with. We have these ideas of all this stuff, and it's absolutely useless when we should be worrying about this stuff that's being told to us by science. So let's see if we can't move closer to where we live, drive smaller cars, take mass transportation, and live in the cities instead of out in the suburb where we're endlessly sprawling and causing endless hassle for the few animals and plants that are remaining. So I appreciate any comments on this, any ups, new subscribers to YouTube. Helps with the algorithm to keep my channel going. And until next time.